All right, everyone. Last homework for this week. Today we're working on the law of cosine. Right. Your homework assignment is HW for homework 6.2, page 405, numbers 1 through 4. And I just wanted you to get acquainted with the law of cosines. Okay. Number 1 says A equals 6, B equals 8, and C equals 12. All these are lowercase, which means that we have all sides. And you could try to, I would say just draw any old triangle. Okay. And it doesn't matter how you draw it. But you can try to make it match if you like. So let's say A is 6, B is, here, I'll do something like this. Okay. So A is 6. You can say B is 8 and C is 12. So this would be capital C. B is 8, so that means that this would be capital B. And A is 6, so this would be capital A. Our job is to find the missing information. Directions says just solve the triangle, meaning find all the angles and find all the sides. And we have all the sides, we just need all the angles. So in this case, we're going to need to start with the law of cosine. So we're going to start with cosine. And whatever angle you want to do, let's say angle A. Cosine of angle A, right? Or cosine of A. And however you want to do this, I mean, you look through your notes, you can try to memorize it. I mean, whatever works for you, okay, at the moment. But cosine of A is equal to, and because we have A, we're going to be using B and C. So B is 8, so it'd be 8 squared plus C, which is 12 squared. And then it's going to be minus the A, which is opposite of angle A, so minus 6 squared. On the bottom, it's going to be 2, and then it's going to be the 8 and the 12 again. So it's the B and the C. Right? Utilize the calculator for all that. And if I was doing this, I would actually just do this in one move, right? So I would actually do something like this. So watch how I do this. I would do parentheses 8 squared plus 12 squared. You can do this on the small calculator as well. Or if you have a Android, you can do it the same way. Just type it in just like that, divided by, and then I would just do parentheses again. 2 times 8 times 12. Just like that. Okay, enter, and you get 0.8958333333. Okay, now I need to find A, not cosine of A, so I will need to do a cosine inverse of both sides. So I need to do this. I need to take that right there, and I'm only going to do this once, just because I'm such a nice guy. And I'm going to go ahead and do cosine inverse. And again, I'll just show you once. So if I do cosine inverse of the left side, I'll have to do cosine inverse of the right hand side. Okay, by doing that, my cosine inverse is going to cancel out with my cosine, and it's going to just leave me with A. So now on the right hand side, okay, it doesn't cancel, so I will have the 0.895833333, and I need cosine inverse that. So on my calculator over here, I would do cosine inverse, and notice I'm not erasing everything. And I could either copy that, right? I can do that, or I can just pull up the answer right here, and it stands for the previous answer. So it's in yellow. Notice that it's in yellow. So I'm gonna type it. I'm gonna hit the yellow button, the second, and then answer, which means it's gonna give me the previous answer, and that would give me 26.38. And again, always check to see that you're in degree mode, which I am. So I'm gonna go and quit out of there. So 26.384. Okay. And this one, we're going to go ahead and leave it as whole numbers. So it's going to be 26.384. So A is going to be approximately, oops, I don't know why I put, A is going to be approximately 26 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 26 degrees. All right. And because I already have, me personally, um, I would actually utilize this law of cosine again because I'm just practicing it. Okay, and I'm pretty good with law of sine, so I'm gonna go ahead and just practice with law of cosine. So I'm gonna go ahead and start over again, and this time I'm gonna go with angle B, right? And it's just gonna be the same as what I have there. I'm gonna put this in green this time, so it's gonna be cosine B equals, right? And since I'm doing cosine of B, I'm gonna be using A and C. So A is gonna be 6 squared plus C, which is 12 squared, minus, and then the B, the opposite, so it'd be minus the B, the side B would be 8 squared. And then it's going to be over 2 times 6 times 12. All right? You can do this in one fell swoop. Okay, and if you're really good, you can just do it because you know you're gonna have to do inverse cosine. So if you're really good, you could just do inverse cosine and then just put all that in. Inverse cosine of what? I'm gonna start with parentheses 6 squared plus 12 squared minus 8 squared. Close that parentheses off. These two parentheses right here goes together, right? And I don't have a partner for the one in front yet, so I'm gonna have to wait on that. So divided by, and then on the bottom, I have 2 times 6 times 12. Close that parentheses off, and then now you gotta close that parentheses which matches the beginning, right? So this parentheses right here matches that parentheses. This parentheses matches with that, and that closes off the top and the bottom. And then that beginning parentheses with the inverse cosine, you need that one to match it up. So that gets you 36.33. Okay, and that's actually just B because I'm already using inverse cosine. So with that, I just get 36.33, or I'm going to say B is approximately 36 degrees. And with that, I actually don't need to do any more law of cosines or sines or anything. I just need to take it away from 180. So I would go 180, take away 36 degrees, take away 26 degrees. And that top angle should be 118 degrees. Okay, that's number one. Okay, number two is exactly the same. You're giving all sides, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and start over with number two. If you need anything from there, I suggest you go back and rewind it or slow it down if you need. Number two. Okay. Actually, I gotta get going soon. So A equals 9, B equals 3, C equals 11. So again, just draw any old triangle. It doesn't even matter if it looks right? So A, B, C, right? A is 9, B is 3, and C is 11. And see how the C is longer? But, it doesn't matter because I'm just using it as a reference. So I'm going to start with angles A. So cosine of A equals, so that's B. So that's 3 squared plus C, 11 squared, minus the A, which is 9 squared, over 2, 3, and 11. Again, I can just do that in one move if I just do inverse cosine and then all of that. Parentheses. Notice inverse cosine already gives you a parentheses, so you need a parentheses to match to make the top work. So 3 squared plus 11 squared minus 9 squared. Close that off. Divided by parentheses 2 times 3 times 11. Close that off and close it off one more time. And that gets me 42 degrees for A. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do, up here, 42 degrees. Okay, so A is approximately 42 degrees. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do angle B. So cosine, I'm going to do right here. Angle B equals, so B, so just know that if you're looking for angle B, you're going to be subtracting side B squared. So minus 3 squared. So then that leaves you with 9 squared plus 11 squared minus 3 squared. And then this is 2, 9, and 11. So if you do plenty of these, you'll actually get the hang of it. And again, I'm going to do this in one fell swoop with the inverse cosine. Here, I'll clear it out. So it'll be parentheses 9 squared plus 11 squared minus 3 squared. Close that off. Divided by open parentheses 2 times 9 times 11. Close parentheses. Close the cosine inverse parentheses. And that gets you 12.9. I'm going to say that's approximately 13 degrees. And because B is 13 degrees, I can now do 180, take away 13, take away 42, and that will give me angle C is 125 degrees. Okay, that's 1 and 2. Okay, number 3. 3 is A equals 50 degrees. Side B equals 15 degrees. 15, sorry, not degrees. Side C equals 30. Okay, so again, just draw any old triangle down. Doesn't matter how it looks. A, B, you're just using it for reference. Angle A is 50. B is 15. C is 30. Right? So I'm going to start first with finding side A. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start first with finding side A. So I'm going to have A squared equals B squared, which is 15, plus C squared, which is 30, minus 2, and then you're going to use the 15 and the 30 again. Oops. And then this is going to be cosine of the angle A, which is 50 degrees. Okay, and I would do all of this in one swooping motion. Okay, so it would be 15 squared plus 30 squared minus 2 times 15 times 30 times cosine 50 degrees. Close that off, and you will get, and I'm only going to do this once. Right? I would get A squared equals 546.4911513. Right? And this looks like a big answer because it is, because I need to do the square root, because I don't need A squared, I need just A, like what I have. So take the answer and do square root. Next time around, I'm going to do it all in one motion. Okay, so this gives you 23. So this is approximately 23.377. So I'm going to say approximately 23. So that's going to be 23. Okay, and once I have all the three sides, now I can go ahead and do angle A, or sorry, angle B or angle C. So I'm going to go ahead and just do angle B. So I'm going to say, I'm going to start with cosine angle B equals then, and we have plenty of practice with this on number 1 and 2. So it's going to be A squared, which is now 23 squared, plus C squared, which is 30 squared, minus the actual angle B, minus actually what B side B is 15 squared, over 2, and then use the 23 and use the 30 again. Okay, and we've had some practice, so I'm going to go ahead and do this in one motion. So this is going to be 23 squared plus 30 squared minus 15 squared. Close that off, divided by parentheses 2 times 23 times 30. Close it, close it. This gives me 29.2, so I'm going to say angle B is about 29 degrees. And because we know angle A, angle B, we can take it away from 180. So 180 minus 29 minus 50. And that gets us angle C, which is 101 degrees. Okay, and we solved for that triangle. Pause if you need to, because I'm going to erase it right now. Okay, number 4, last one. 4, we have angle C equals 108 degrees. A equals 10, B equals 7. Okay, and again, you're just going to go ahead and draw any old triangle to help you with your referencing. A, it doesn't matter how you put it, B and C. C is 108, and you can definitely tell this is not 108 degrees, but I'm just going to go ahead and go with it. A is 10, B is 7. Okay, and again, I'm going to start with looking for side C because we do need the side first. So I'm going to start with C squared equals A, which is 10 squared, plus B, which is 7 squared, minus 2, and then A and B again, so 10, 7 again, and then cosine of angle C because we're looking for side C, so that's 108 degrees. Okay, and I can do all this in one motion by doing square root and all of that. So see how I do this. So I'm going to go ahead and do square root, and then it automatically puts a parentheses. So that means at the end, I'm going to have to close off with another parentheses to close it off. Okay, so I'm going to go 10 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 10 times 7 times cosine 108. And the cosine already puts a parentheses, so you need to close that off, and you need to close the parentheses for the square root. And that gives me the answer. I don't need to do square root because I just did it. 13.8, so I'm going to say C is approximately 14. And once I have that, I can now go into my angle A or angle C, or angle B, excuse me. So I'm going to go and do angle A. So I'm going to start with cosine angle A equals, since I'm doing angle A, I'm going to use B, which is 7 squared, and C, which is 14 squared. Right, and then it's going to be minus the side A, which is 10 squared, over 2, use the 7, and use the 14 again. Okay, and then again, I've done this before, so I'm going to go ahead and do this in one motion, use cosine inverse, parentheses, 7 squared plus 14 squared minus 10 squared, close that off, divided by, open parentheses, 2 times 7 times 14. Close it off and close off the inverse cosine. That gets you a answer of A equals, or A is approximately 42.2, so I'll say A is approximately 42. Which means I can use a 180, take away 42, take away 108, and that will give me angle B, which is 30 degrees. All right, so that's a wrap. See you on my